It was the same Apple market that you must have heard about the history of Alaafin Aole. Alaafin Aole, when he was a prince, was also involved in slave trade in Apomu market. So he was caught in Apomu market when he sold his friend to an Ijebu man as a slave. So, and as at that time he did that, they have stopped slave trade, trading in human being. So, and the law then was that anybody that is caught selling slave, the punishment is capital. The person should be killed. So when Aule was caught, he was to be killed. He now told the Baale of Apomu that ìgbà tí wọ́n pa ọ̀gbẹ̀rì wọn lè pa ọmọ ọbẹ̀ that I'm an Ọ̀yọ́ prince. So Alapomu now asked him to identify himself. So he identified himself, and Alapomu was totally disappointed. He said, you a prince? Is it not your father and Oni that made a decree that put an end to slave trade? Why did you involve yourself again? So he pleaded for mercy, and out of clemency, instead of him to be killed, Alapomu said he should be punished. So he was flogged and he was released after he has served his punishment. So when he got to Oyo, after about 3-4 years, the reigning Alaafin then was Alaafin Abiodun, died. So Aule had to succeed Alaafin Abiodun. So when Aule became Alaafin, he now said he want to take a revenge on Apomu. That how can a Baale flog an Alaafin? So he now declare war on Apomu. That that's, I don't want to say, I don't want to go for that, because a lot of things is involved, and so let's just leave it like that. So that's why I say, when you write Yoruba history and you don't put Apomu, that history is not complete. Number one, Apomu was the only market town during this 16, 17, 18, even to the early part of 19th century. Apomu was the only market town in the whole of Yoruba land. So which means if you want to trade, you want to do commerce, you have to go to Apomu. So that's the significance of Apomu.
Okay, sir. Then I also noticed that you and Kabisian are very close.
Yes.
What's the story, sir?
Well, firstly, it's my father. And it's not only close to me, it's also close to so many of us. But if you perceive that we are closer, it may be as a result of blood, because we are brothers, if I may say, because it's on his progenitor and my progenitor is the same. Like I told you in my earlier statement, that my forefather came from Gesi in Ile-Ife, and Babatu is from Gesi, so that's the bond. So that's the relationship that we have. So we have blood relation. So, but I cannot say it's only because of that that makes me closer to him. But it's also close to so many urban Yoruba land.
So how do you also see the situation of things in the country politically, and what's your advice to politicians?
Well, these are tough times, and this is also new government in the state, new government in the country. So one cannot really say much about them because they are new in office. We just keep on watching, but with what we have seen so far, so I have the belief that they will do well. At least the president have a track record. When he was governor of Lagos State, people have attested to that. He did very well. So he's an experienced man, and we believe that he will be able to replicate that at the national level. So, but for now, there is no basis yet to assess his government. So we can only pray for them to succeed, both at state and the national level. So what they need is our cooperation and our prayers, and I pray that they succeed.
Kabisi, your growing up was where? Where did you grow up?
I'm a policeman's son,
Okay.
so you can imagine what it could look like. I was born in Apomu in 1963, August 12th, and I started my primary education here. But shortly after my birth, my father used to be a teacher. So there was this dire need for men in the Nigerian police. So my father joined Nigeria police, and they were the first set of mobile police in Nigeria. As at that time, the mobile police was set up to assist the army during the war. So that when soldiers, when they have captured a place and they want to advance, they will hand over such place to the mobile police force. So shortly after my birth, my daddy joined the police force. So I was still young. So by the time I was around 4, 5 years, my father took me to. He was posted to Enugu. So I was in Enugu. From Enugu to Aba to Owerri to Kano to Benin. So I was moving within anywhere he's posted to. So that really affected my education. By the time we came home, I discovered that I've lost about 2, 3 years. So those that we started at the same time. So I now decided that I want to stay at home. I'm not following about again. So eventually by 1972, I stopped moving about with him. So I was supposed to finish my primary school in 1973, but I finished 1975. So by 1976, I entered secondary school. So I continue in 1972 in Apomu again. Then I did my secondary school also in Ikire, the neighboring town. From there, I could not secure admission to university, and I didn't want to go to I didn't know I would eventually go to Polytechnic. My desire was to go to university. So I did not secure admission through JAM to university. I said I will not go to Polytechnic. I was offered admission by Ibadan Poly, but I said no, it's university I wanted to go. So I did not take the offer. So my uncle, my predecessor, now got me a job with Minister of Oyo State, Minister of Finance. So when they employ me, they have Minister of Finance, they have different division. So I was transferred to Internal Revenue Division. So from there, I was posted to Elisha. When I got to Elisha, I was a clerical officer, and as at that time, they had two offices in the whole of Idesha land, Elisha office and Ijebu Idesha. So Ijebu Idesha office, they didn't have clerical officer. So they now transferred me from Elisha to Ijebu Idesha as a clerical officer. So I was there. So I tried JAM again. JAM did not take me. So eventually I had to go to Kwara State College of Technology then, now Kwara Poly. So I lost 2 years. What I didn't want to take then, I had to take it because time was going. So I was offered admission to study banking and finance. So I read banking and finance from Kwara State College of Technology, Learning. So when I finished, I came to Lagos. So I worked in some small companies before I got a job with Commercial Bank Relay in 1990. So I was there up till 1999 before I traveled to London. I was in London for 10 years. I eventually returned to Nigeria in year 2009 to form my own company.
Okay.
So it was from my company that I now ascended the throne of my forefather, Alapomu.
How did all of this, you're moving around and all that, prepare you for your role today?
That's why I can never forget my grandfather and my maternal grandmother. You know, at the age of 3, my grandfather has started exposing me to culture, custom, and tradition because he's so fond of me. Because my father was not around, he has joined the Nigerian police, and in those days, the mentality is, it was during the war, and my father, who is his son, had been posted to the war zone. So the mentality of parents those days that if you go to war, you might not return.
Mm.
So my grandfather started bringing me closer, so that when he sees me, it will be like he has seen his son. So anywhere he was going, he was always taking me. And he was a palace chief that time. He was the head of priests as at that time. So he was always bringing me to the palace. So I would come with him like the way my chief, the way you are seeing my chief now. That's how. So I will sit down. I will watch proceedings and how they do things. So from that way, I was gaining little by little how the palace operates. He died in 1970. Then my paternal grandmother, I didn't know why then, he instructed my father that he wants me to be familiar with Apomu. That all this taking me anywhere they post into will not do me any favor. So I came to Apomu. I was helping, well, she's a petty trader. I was helping her to work her trades. So that enables me to know various compounds in Apomu. Because wọ́n máa pọ́n rice lé mi lórí nígbà míì wọ́n lè gbé provision wọ́n á ní kí n kiri lọ with leg. So and you have to go
Through
through the town.
compounds.
So that enables you to know some of the compounds and to know people. So when I finished my primary school, because my mom was from Ijebu, so and my mother side too, they wanted me to be close to them. So they wanted me to do my secondary school in Ijebu, but my paternal grandmother insisted that I have to be around there. I didn't know then. It's now that I'm realizing why they did all they did then. So, so my doing my secondary school education also enables me to know people here until when I have become an adult, because I left secondary school at the age of 18. So then my maternal grandmother, around 1978, he told my mom, he said, look, I love you, my daughter. Allow your children to know my own family too. Your son is too close to your husband's people. So my mother now told me that anytime I have holiday, I'll be spending my holiday with our parents. So there's no problem. So when we had long vacation holiday in 1978, so I went to my maternal grandmother. My maternal grandmother said, we are not spending the holiday here, that is taking me to his own relations that are based in Ilorin. So that's how he took me to Ilorin. So I met his brothers and sisters and their children that are based in Ilorin. So that's how I got to know them. So that now prepare ground for me to know people from Kwara State. It was this early contact then that helped me to know people like Olofa and other friends from Kwara State. That that thing that my grandmother did, taking me to Ilorin. So after 1978, it now became a regular thing for me to go to Ilorin. It was during one of my visits to Ilorin in 1982 that one of them now said, "You don't want to go to school. You are saying university, and they are not giving you admission. They are admitting people in Kwara State College of Technology." And I said, "Okay, if that's what you want me to do, no problem." They took me to Kwara Tech, and they got the form for me. So when I got admission, I was doing my program in my room. We had to be four in a room. So three of my roommates, they were from Offa town. So if we have holiday, instead of me coming to Apomu or Lagos to my parents, Offa is closer, just about 30-40 minutes journey. I will go and spend my time in Offa. That's how I got to know Offa people, and that now made me to know Olofa as far back as early 80s. So I am really thankful to both of them, my grandfather and my maternal grandmother. I think they must have knew that maybe a day like this is coming in my life. But if I say to you that I knew I would become a king, I am lying. I am lying. But I went through a lot of things that really prepared me for the throne. So and I met a lot of good friends that were very close to one another, and they were the one that really assisted me when it mattered most for me to ascend to the throne, because we've been tried and tested. So they see me as an honest person, they see me as a genuine friend, they see me as somebody that is frank. I'm not diplomatic at all. My yes is my yes. My no, my no. I don't deceive people. It's not my way of life. I was not brought up that way. So the course of my life, those that I met, I didn't know that later in life they will be instrumental and helpful to me ascending the throne. There is this friend of mine. We our path crossed during our secondary school days around 1976. And ever since that time, we've been very, very, very close. Later, we became a professional colleague. As I read banking and finance, I also studied banking and finance. So when I left banking to UK, I was still working in the bank. So later, when I returned, he had joined politics. So when it was time for me to contest for the throne, he was already a commissioner in the state. So when I now met him, he said, "K, don't worry. That I'm sure it's because of you that God has made. I can assure you that our friendship has been long, and it must have been ordained by God, maybe for this purpose. That I should not stress myself." And honestly, he gave his 100% support. He worked for me. He supported me. So thank God for people like that, and so many other people like Olofa, Elegushi, Oni, and the late Alafin. These people, I cannot measure their support for me. They are my benefactors, and I will always remember them. They were really there for me at the time that it matters most. I'm grateful to those people.